wedding, there was so much information that came through, and we're going to get into all of it today. I did a video a few months back on Three Eye Atlas, and I have been talking about it quite often in interviews because everyone's talking about it. And honestly, the last time I checked into it, you could call it exciting. I call it boring because maybe that's just the comparison of my life, but it is intelligent. There is intelligent life within it. It is a spacecraft, and we're going to talk about more of that today. And the boring part is that it's really just passing through. You know, it's not going to come invade us. It's not coming to planet Earth. It is just here to pass through because it's on a journey to go elsewhere. That being said, I obviously wanted to recheck into it today. There's been a lot of stir. There's been a lot of sort of new scientific discoveries that are creating a lot of questioning. So I decided to go back to that ship and actually dig a little bit deeper. Who's occupying the ship? Why are they there? Where are they coming from? How does your ship work? What do you think about humans? What do you think about Earth? Is your ship affecting us in any way? Are you affecting us in any way? And the answers were absolutely shocking. And so fascinating. So yeah, we're gonna get into all of that right now. And yeah, just strap in, hang on. As always, you guys, like, I'm a remote viewer, take it or leave it. If it resonates with you, great, it's for you. If it does not resonate with you, just go ahead and take it as a piece of entertaining, I don't know, entertaining minutes, you know? It's fascinating. And as I've said before, I don't know what to expect. I didn't have any sort of preconceived notion. Obviously, I knew that there was intelligence behind it because I had remote viewed it a couple months ago. But I'm just skeptical and curious and open-minded and really pay attention to front-loading. And essentially, that's just preconceived notion. All right. So before we get into everything I remote viewed and answering all of those fascinating questions, let's talk about some things that other people are talking about right now, just to sort of tie in some threads and get your mind a little bit stimulated, because it is interesting. So, and these are just things that I picked up on from other people's videos that other people sent me. So yeah, don't take any of this as like fact. Take all of this as a grain of salt as well, and do your own research on some of the more suspicious, weird things surrounding this sort of comet, okay? So one of the first things is that very recently, NASA had disruptions in its 24-hour live footage. There's also photos, I guess, of when Three Eye Atlas was closest to Mars, and they haven't released those images yet. However, there's sort of these junior astronomers who are all over the world, and they have their own equipment, and they are taking very fascinating images of Three Eye Atlas that's sparking a lot of questions. So once again, go and do your own research around that. They are speculating that actually early 2026 is when Three Eye Atlas is going to be closest to Earth. I know before they were speculating sort of October, November. Now they're sort of saying around January 19th. Like I said, things change, take it or leave it, but this is just information that I've picked up on. Also, people are relating sort of the emergence of Three Eye Atlas to some interesting worldly events like volcanoes erupting. I guess there was a big volcanic eruption, and then there's a lot of sort of recent volcanic activity that's been sort of spurring people on as well. And then on top of that, there's a lot of people linking the appearance of Three Eye Atlas to some very interesting religious and ancestral documents. So we're talking like the Quran, the Bible, we're talking like ancient sort of Native American indigenous roots. And there's all these prophecies that are sort of rooted within these religions that talk about in sort of different language in different ways, but, a star streaking across the sky, or, the emergence of the white buffalo, which actually leads me to this really weird thing that other people are talking about. Is like all these white animals are appearing everywhere. And then people are sort of interpreting that as a transformation is happening, but they're linking it back to 3i Atlas. Now, for me, just as a kind of more skeptical, logical person, I think that some of these things are a bit of a stretch, but I also realize that this is a very important time to be alive on planet Earth. And so is everything that's occurring connected to 3i Atlas? Probably not. But is it all connected to what is happening on planet Earth? Absolutely. And we're going to talk about actually specifically how 3i Atlas is affecting this planet and affecting humans and affecting the solar system, because that's a question I asked. So, and then, and then also recently they have discovered that 3i Atlas is shedding water, or I guess C2, which is really fascinating, and obviously comets don't usually do that. They also speculate that the iron and nickel content is imbalanced. Typically with a comet, the iron and nickel content is very balanced. I have no idea how they could even discern that from such a distance, but at a more scientific level, people are really sort of speculating the reality of it being sort of a space object or something more. Also, people are saying that the Mayan calendar has been off this whole time. I've heard this as well. I mean, given leap years and I don't know, like how weird our calendar is, and I don't know. Basically, they're saying that 2012 was like the prediction of the end of the Mayan calendar, but now people are correcting it to, I guess, the end of 2025 being the end of the Mayan calendar. Once again, all things to look into if you are interested. And then there's this whole sort of solar flare connection that some astronomers and other people are making to 3i Atlas, which is really fascinating. So just yesterday, Airbus, which is, I guess, an airplane company, grounded around 500 planes due to solar activity messing with the technology of their airplanes. I have talked about solar flares literally for 10 years, you guys, literally for so long. And I have an app on my phone called Space Weather Live. So I track solar flares almost every day. And just this morning, we had a 1.9x solar flare. Now, just for reference, for those of you who don't know what that means, the last time we had a 10x solar flare, which I believe was in 1980 something, it wiped out like most of Quebec. So at least the positive thing about solar flares is, depending on the sun's sort of, does the sun rotate? I don't know. Depending on where the sun is at and that sunspot is at, and depending on the rotation of the planet and where we're at, the solar flare will affect sort of a specific area of the planet. But a 10x or higher solar flare is going to do serious damage to our electrical grid. Up until that point, it is going to affect our vibrational frequency in an incredible way. Really, any X-class solar flares are going to have an incredible effect on our frequency and our energy. It's electromagnetic frequency. We are electromagnetic beings. Of course, it's going to affect us. Most people just feel really tired. So we just had that this morning, and I guess there's this guy who's connecting the emergence of 3i Atlas and solar flares. And so I guess when 3i Atlas was directly behind, like traveling behind the sun, we had 3 days of intense solar activity. And I don't know sort of what he was speculating there, but it's just fascinating when we do take a look at it. And now that 3i Atlas has emerged again, we're having more solar activity. And of course, it's getting closer to planet Earth. So is it affecting things? This is one of the questions that I asked, okay? Now let's like go into the remote view. Like let's just go into the information that I received. And as always, like take it or leave it. It was very fascinating and I'm glad I sort of poked around a little bit more. Before we get into everything I remote viewed, I have a couple of announcements. We are doing a massive Black Friday sale right now. Today was actually supposed to be the very last day of the Black Friday sale, but we are extending it to the end of the week. Just keep in mind that you won't see sale prices on the site until you check out, okay? Everything on the website is usually $11 or $22. Just keep that in mind. So it's 33% off everything right now, applied at checkout. And we're also giving 33% off memberships as well. So if you want access to all of my content and especially completely ad-free and you're kind of sick of the ads on YouTube, and I'm sorry about that, I don't have control over that, then head on over to my website, okay? And you can pick up a bunch of other things too that's exciting. Also, oh my goodness, I can't believe I forgot to bring my book over. My book, Your Anxiety is Giving Me Anxiety. I finally got a physical copy of it. I'm super pumped. We are getting so close to the launch date. So please go ahead and grab yourself a copy of my next book. It is called Your Anxiety is Giving Me Anxiety. And if any of world events right now are giving you anxiety, then you want to be grabbing this book because it will give you tangible solutions and also sustainable solutions to anxiety. So yeah, check that out. You can send us a screenshot of your purchase and we will send you an anxiety survival kit, all right, while you're waiting for the book to come in. And then two more things. Moving forward, we've got the Galactic Federation Summit. If you're interested in aliens and extraterrestrials and all of the above, then check out the next Galactic Federation Summit on December 11th. I'm super pumped about that because I'm going to be asking them all about 2026. We're going to be talking about Mars. We're going to be talking about time travel and any specific events we need to be aware of in the first 3 months of the new year. And so much more, as always. So go check that out. And then we have my biggest annual event coming up on December 21st. I can't believe how quickly time has gone. I'm like, whoa. We are at another Cosmic Gateway event. This is a 3-hour event that I do live. And essentially we go through, I think it's like maybe a 30-page workbook together. And it's all about clearing out old energy of 2025 and bringing in and grounding in the new energy of 2026. I've now done this for I think 3 or 4 years, and we have live musical guests. It's really incredible. We do cord cutting. So if you feel like you need an intention setting ceremony, if you feel like you need your hand held to release the bullshit of this year, then please make your way over to the Cosmic Gateway event. All right, and right now it's 33% off. So instead of $22 for a 3-hour event, it's like $14 or something like that, okay? So please go check that out because for me, it just anchors me into the new energy of the new year every single time, and we have so much fun. We do. And if you can't make the live event, we'll just send you a copy of the recording, which is included in your purchase. All right, guys? Let's get into my remote view. So let's just, once again, I just want to explain my process a little bit super quickly. So it was actually really funny because today I like put a piece of gum in my mouth and I closed my eyes and I'm like trying to leave my body to go over to this freaking thing that's so far away. And anyway, and so I'm like chewing the gum in my mouth and it's like pulling me back into my body. I don't know, it was so funny. Maybe not that funny, but like I had to take the gum out of my mouth before I got out of my body because it was just like distracting me, I guess. It's like such a random note to make. But anyway, so yeah, close my eyes, quiet my mind, separate myself from my physical 5 senses, leave my body consciously, fully aware, and then travel over to the location or destination or whatever that I want to go to. So that's what I did. And I went back over there and here are my notes, okay? So first of all, there's intelligence inside. That's what I saw last time. Literally all I picked up on last time was, yes, it is not normal or naturally occurring. Yes, it is a ship of some sort. And yes, there's intelligent life inside. I really didn't go beyond that. And then also, what's their purpose? They're just passing through. And I was so sort of disappointed by that I just ended the remote view. And I was like, well, this is boring. But people still talk about it, so let's talk about it. And I did get really interesting information today. Okay, so there's intelligence inside. I tried to identify the species. And I also mentioned like a blue turquoise energy. So the second I emerged into this ship, you could call it, I think I mentioned at the beginning of the video, typically there's like chambers or rooms and hallways and like details that I can see inside a building or inside a ship or wherever I'm remote viewing to. This one didn't have any of that. And I don't know if I was just kind of blinded by the energy or it actually is just one giant open vessel. And so that's what it looked like. It was just this white light and this blue light that was inside. And it was pretty blinding and I couldn't see too many details. And then there were beings inside who were tall and humanoid, and I would say that they were more etheric, but I could not pinpoint their origin. I couldn't pinpoint their species. I have definitely never interacted with beings like this before, but they were not necessarily organic. Like they did not have like organic bodies. So that was very clear. So I asked some questions, okay? Because I was like, let's actually just chat here for a second. So my first question to them was, why is your ship giving off water or C2? Just curious. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to respond. I don't even know if they wanted to respond. Like I had no idea what to expect. And it was so interesting because their response was very non-conversational, let's say, okay? Like, let me call it neutral. They, you know, some extraterrestrials have like a wit to them or like humor or like an edge or whatever. And they were just very sort of matter of fact. And they answered the question without stating much more. I also didn't get like a fully loving presence, but I also definitely didn't get like a super negative presence. Like I said, like pretty neutral, but very high vibrational. So they said that's how their propulsion system works. So apparently giving off the C2 or whatever is how their propulsion system works. See, I'm saying like they didn't give me any other detail other than that. I'm like, okay, cool. So then I had to ask them, okay, because this is important. I said, why do you need a ship? Why do you even need a ship? Because I'm sort of observing them and I'm like, you're an etheric being, you don't have a body, so then why do you need to travel in like a shell or whatever? I don't know, like typically I meet etheric beings and they're like, yes, I'm interdimensional and I can go wherever I want just by thinking of it. So my next question, naturally, was why do you even need a ship? I'm so confused here. And they said, this is fascinating, they said that these are the words that they used, or at least they translated, which was, it's a containment system. That's what it is. It's a containment system to help them observe. But the containment system was so key. I was like, okay, seems a little linear, you know? If you're like a non-linear being, seems a little counterproductive, like just in my mind. Anyway, but they actually explain this later on, so it's fascinating. All right, so it's a, you know, containment system to help them observe. And then they said, okay, so I kind of asked them about their mission a little bit, right? Like, what is your mission? Last time you told me, hey, we're just passing through. We really don't care about Earth. You know, we're not here for Earth, basically. Okay? So what is your mission? This is fascinating. They said they're on a mission to observe. They're on a mission to observe, I don't want to say the entirety of this universe, but they're on a mission to observe this universe. And they said that they could go faster, but they don't. And so when they said they could go faster, they showed me like I don't know if it's like warp speed or light speed, or like essentially it looked like the collapsing of space and time, and then they could just sort of pop in wherever they wanted. So they have the capacity to do that. but they choose not to because, and they're still going pretty fast, like fast, I guess, in our terms, but to slow it down, they can observe more, is what they explained. Like I said, guys, take it or leave it. They could go faster, but they don't. Oh, and then I said, where are you coming from? And this is where they pointed to sort of like quite a far ways away, but it looked like it was the center of the Milky Way galaxy, so the center of our galaxy. And what they showed me, okay, visually was like it looked like a tight squeeze, like it looked like they popped out of something, and it could be a portal or like a energy vortex. It could be a black hole that they like came from. And they described it as a different universe, that they came from a different universe. So I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting. So potentially a black hole? Like, anyway. Yeah, and they did kind of mention that not every being is able to go through a black hole the way that they are. I don't know. I didn't get into that too much. I have talked to the Galactic Federation about black holes before. All right, so then I moved on and I said, what are your thoughts on humans? What are your thoughts on humans? Because they are just passing through. They're not technically here for us. However, this is interesting. They said that there is much excitement around humans. And they were specifically referencing the other beings that are interested in human beings. So because there's so many other beings that are interested in us and there's excitement around us, they're curious about us. So I said, what are your thoughts on humans? And they're like, oh, well, we're just curious about you because everyone else is excited by you. Basically. I'm like, okay. I feel like there was something else about that. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. I'm just wondering if it's in my notes. Yeah, that's true. Okay. I did put it in my notes. All right. So then I had to ask, okay, are you or your ship affecting us at this time? Because everyone's saying, oh, the white animals and the volcanoes and the solar flares, right? So of course I had to ask, are you or your ship affecting us at this time? And so they said, yes, there's two things that are affecting planet Earth and human beings at this time. One is the frequency. I guess just simply the frequency of them inside the ship is affecting our frequency. They really didn't explain how or why. So I really should have asked about that. And then the second thing that's affecting us, and they're not like purposefully doing that, it's just happening because they're around, is they were talking about the movement of the ship is creating vibrational waves. So think about a boat in the water creating a wake. So they were talking about how as their ship is moving and passing through, it's sort of stirring up the cosmic dust. I don't know, but if it is sort of and I don't know how this stuff works, but if it is sort of an energetic or vibrational ripple or wave, it could potentially make sense that that vibrational ripple or wave is then hitting the sun, kind of like a wind or a wake, and it's prompting more solar flares potentially in our direction if that wake is coming from behind the sun. I don't know, right? Just things to speculate. But that's what they said. They said, yes, the frequency of us inside the ship and then the movement of the ship itself. So it's like energy is affecting us and then the actual physicality of it is affecting us, which is interesting. Once again, they didn't really say how it was affecting us. I don't know why I didn't ask. And then they also said, which I think is a really big misconception right now, even if other remote viewers or channelers are kind of picking up on the same information as this is the misconception. So the misconception is they are showing up at this time to shift us into a new frequency. I don't know what other people are saying, but like, let's just say that's it. And that's not the case. So what they said, this is what I wrote down. They are showing up at this time for a reason. Yes, a great transition. They are here because of it, not creating it. So this was a very interesting discernment or distinction, is that they sort of planned their trip around this universe to come through our solar system to specifically observe us because they're curious about why everyone is so excited about us specifically at this time. So yes, they are sort of inadvertently affecting us and our frequency, but they are not the ones creating or initiating the change. It's like they're here because this is the time that we are transitioning and changing, and they're curious about that, so they're observing us, but they are also affecting us. So it's like kind of one of those harmony things, or the chicken and the egg thing. It's like, what came first, you know? But it was very clear that they are not creating all of the change and the transitions. And also, likewise, if you think about, once again, like, I don't know how the science works, but if you think about sort of this space ripple that something like that can create in our solar system, then potentially it's also sort of expanding and contracting the Earth's magnetic field a little bit, which could potentially create massive tsunamis or, you know, volcanic eruptions, or, you know, it can, electromagnetic frequency, as we know from the moon, it can really shape and shift and change us and affect us. So that could be it too. Okay, so then I said my last thing to them, and then I had to go over to our good friend Kinetic, because I just wanted a little bit of clarity, and I felt like I wasn't getting it from these beings. I said, do you have a message to humanity? Like, if you were to talk to human beings right now, if I were to be your conduit, what would you say? Nothing. It's so funny too, because I really had this feeling like it's not that they're not allowed to say anything, but they don't want to affect our free will. So it's like the law of non-intervention is super strong with them, which is why they were giving me very like sort of clear, short answers without any sort of extra, because they actually don't want to impact us. They just want to observe us. So I'm like, give us a message, relay us with your other universe wisdom, and nothing. I got nothing. I'm sorry, you guys. So then I was like kind of disappointed about that. I had to go over to the Galactic Federation, went over to their mothership, talked to Kinetic, who is a Pleiadian, and I just said, hey, Kinetic, like, what's up? What did I ask, actually? Oh yeah, I said, can you tell me, like, is there anything specifically about 3i Atlas that we need to know? Like, is it truly affecting us? And he said, yes, their presence is creating a frequency shift. It's a change and a remembrance, but same thing that these beings said, they're not creating the change, they're here to observe the change, and they're almost like amplifying it. That's a really great word to use. And what's interesting is I actually do believe that the presence of 3i Atlas has probably been prophesized for quite some time. And so it's the chicken and the egg thing. It's like they were always meant to be here at this time. We were always meant to observe them at this time. They are amplifying the changes that are happening, and that's all happening for a reason, but they're definitely not responsible for all of the changes just in and of themselves, if that makes sense. So yeah, just super fascinating stuff. As always, take it or leave it, guys. I love you so, so much. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like this stuff, head on over to my website to see everything else I offer as a remote viewer. I have a lot of information on conspiracies, agendas, cloning, past lives, 5D awakening, 5G towers, like you freaking name it, and I have remote viewed it, and it's all very interesting. So you'll find all of my content on my website. And other than that, yeah, subscribe to the channel for free content and get a fill in, you know? Oh, also guys, go over to my TikTok. I swear they are shadow banning that shit. They took down my TikTok account for no good explanation 6 months ago. Like literally just deleted it. Actually, one of my videos got 1 million views. It was on the California wildfires. and then they deleted it right after. Very recently, my Charlie Kirk video got 1 million views on TikTok, and they've been shadow banning me ever since. I have a really good feeling they're about to delete my TikTok once again. I have no issues on YouTube or Instagram, but TikTok, man, it's giving me some issues. So I figured, hey, I do have a TikTok account. Go check it out and follow it, and maybe some more action will help or hurt the situation. I don't know. It's Elizabeth April. Instead of an L, it's a 1. Sorry, it looks kind of scammy, but it is my backup account because my first account got deleted. Anyway, go check that out and all my other socials for more information, especially little short reel clips too. Okay, guys, love you so, so much. You're exactly where you need to be. And yeah, I'll see all of you at the Galactic Federation Summit on December 11th and the Cosmic Gateway on December 21st. Bye for now.